Welcome back to another episode of the 6K Sports Sedan Challenge presented by Continental Tire, where today we're installing the bazooka. That's right, FedEx did finally show up and we now have our new Magnum spec bazooka from Violate manufacturing. This is of course the adapter that goes from the Supercharger to the throttle body to clear the fuel rail issue that we had initially with their original design. And I should mention that Travis from Violate has since revised the design of this one. Basically he flips the throttle body flange 180 degrees and it now clears the fuel rail by moving the connector on the throttle body to the other side. So in the future, you guys would be buying this. So here's the elbow and throttle body in place, and as you can see, it clears the fuel rail by a country mile. So we got lots of good room there. That'll plug in no problem. And in case you're wondering why the other one was black and this one we left in raw aluminum, that's just because I decided I wanted to paint match it to the Supercharger. So the next job, now that we know this is gonna work, is to design our intake. And you can see we got a very short run here, don't we, Pete? So it's gonna be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a tricky one here.
We were told initially that you want to have like a 6-inch straight run past the MAF so that this is happy, but we had some discussions with Brandon at Quantum Auto, who is the tuner of that ECU that we're going to be showing you on the dyno, and he said it's okay to come off here with a tighter 90 as long as you're using the factory air box. So it's when guys go to like a cold air intake with a cone filter without the factory box, that's when you tend to run into MAF confusion issues in his experience. So he thinks we're fine to come off here with a tight 90, which will make it much easier to route this.
When looking at this, you think, man, we are going to be into a tough situation, having to make a ton of pie cuts and trying to figure this out because it does look very, very tight. However, good old Vibrant coming through, and I went through their catalog. Of course, they have literally everything we need, and check this out. This is a tight radius, I think it's 120 degree bend here, and would you look at that, with that bend in there, maybe even a little bit tighter, we are so close. Like, wow, that is almost perfect. Now, what I would have to do here is, of course, find another 45 degree piece of metal, cut it and shape it, but then we checked into the catalog, and this is the part that I was kind of baffled by, because I know Vibrant makes the 3-inch to 3-inch 45, but this is 3 1/4 to 3-inch adapter with a 45 silicone rubber hose, which it seems like such an odd, weird size, but sure enough, they had it, and I think this is going to work brilliantly for us. You can see, obviously we'll have to trim this down here a little bit, and then trim this here, but we should be able to get that on, and that'll give us the flexibility we need here, and it makes for a very, very easy job. I found cutting this silicone to be a chore if you're not using the right tools, and I've tried a bunch of different techniques, but what I found best is a fresh razor blade. You can see I've put a hose clamp on here, which gives me a guided line, and now I can come in with the razor blade and like this, and then just get a really nice clean cut, which I think is going to work really well for us. Ooh, feel that. Once it cuts through, it's got that. Feels so good. Satisfying. Oh. Look at
exciting at the end
that DP.
Is it clean cut?
Clean cut. Oh. It's like it came from the factory like that. All right, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. There's a little bit of a wave here, but
okay.
When you put this thing on, you're not going to notice. That's going to look factory fresh. One thing I was worried about was cutting it too short here and the reduction wouldn't be there, but you can see it still fits like a charm. We are going to cut this side. It's just a matter of how far. I think we're going to reduce the pipe on this end as well, but just to see if this is going to work, let's see if I can line all this up. There you go.
Wow.
Bam.
Too easy.
That is too easy.
Can't let PT have all the fun. He seemed to enjoy that cutting experience so much. I'm going in here, so guessing the trick is to get a good clean start, eh?
Yep.
Yeah, I can see why you find this satisfying. It's kind of like cutting a thick steak, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a little bit tougher.
It is.
But,
well, it depends on how you like your steak, I guess.
It's the overcooked steak.
It's the Walmart steak.
That's been sitting in the fridge for 2 days, and you've just pulled it out.
Just focus on this side, everyone. Look at how nice that cut is over there. Just ignore this janky side over here.
Boy,
But,
well.
see, the challenges with your hose coupler method here is you got this little bit of a bump here, which I think is what threw off my otherwise perfect technique. But this does cut remarkably well, doesn't it?
It does.
All right, look at that.
Hey, there we go.
Problem fixed.
Wow, DP. Look at that. Although the cut on here, not so perfect. You should have let me do that one.
We'll paint the pipe black and you'll never
tweaking
see it.
me.
You'll never see it.
And the beauty of this coupler right here is this one actually gives you a little bit of movement. You see that?
That bubble there.
This bubble. I don't know what the name of this. I'm so bad with names on everything, but this is certainly a better coupler to allow a little bit of movement. Now, I thought I was actually gonna have to weld in a bung, but then I realized, check this out. This is the vacuum fitting from Vibrant. It's aluminum, and all you have to do here is drill a hole to fit this rubber grommet in, and then this guy slides in and you're done. Ironically, the breather hose running to the intake has turned into the most challenging part here. And that is because this fitting, with it being rubber now, I could weld this on, but we're trying not to do that right now. With this fitting being rubber, it's gonna have a bunch of play. So that means this hose has to be a straight shot on, otherwise it's gonna wanna tug this fitting and potentially like create a leak every time. So we're looking at this thing. I grabbed some scrap hose from upstairs, and we don't want it here for obvious reasons. It's just gonna look janky with a tube and like a hose running off. So I'm trying to like hide it a little bit underneath. So I think what we're gonna do is put this fitting, drill a hole and put it around here like underneath. And then now we'll be able to run this tube and tuck it under and have it look somewhat stealth.
Comes the fabrication part of this episode, PT. Drilling a hole.
Yeah, and I could put this in the drill press, but I figured, you know what?
Freehand.
I'm feeling lucky today. I'm going freehand.
Lucky.
It is aluminum.
Yeah.
If this slips, we might have a Mighty Carmod situation where I put a drill bit through my hand, but...
For the Mighty Carmod OGs, they'll know what that's about.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's just put this down in the car a little bit here.
Yeah.
I need more leverage.
Drill through the radiator while you're at it.
Yeah, there you go. That worked, but just
bit of
dumped a
mess,
bunch
I
of
was gonna
shavings
say.
into
Yeah.
your engine bay. Just another quick tip for you. This is a deburring tool. Comes in very handy in such situations like this where we had a bunch of very jagged aluminum, and for me to try to put this onto that jagged aluminum will eventually I'll probably rip it. So this works very well. It's press fit, DP.
Yeah, that's what you
I think
want.
I have to use your car again here.
Yeah, use my workbench / car.
Yeah. Let's see if I can put this down.
What you need to ask yourself is, would you do this on the M5?
I would.
Would you use it as a workbench?
Right now, with that car, I would do anything to get it done quickly. Wow, it's tight, man. What's this?
Oh, there it goes. Whew. It's in there for life now.
Look at that. That is tight. That is not going anywhere. That is good. Sweet. That looks good too, man. With the intake in place and finished, now I think it is time. We need to spruce this up because you said you want to paint this, right?
I do, yeah.
So maybe what I'll do is I will paint this, you paint this, and then we'll compare who did the better job.
Well, I'm 0 for 1 so far on the cutting silicone, so yeah, let's have a shot at redemption here.
Well, just prepping this for paint. I've already scuffed it with some Scotch-Brite. PT's put his tiny red butt plugs in the threaded holes here so we don't get paint on the threads.
They're quite handy.
They are handy.
The butt plugs though, I feel offended.
Well, you know, they're tiny at least. At least you're not using oversized
Okay,
ones.
all
so.
right, fair.
And to trim this tape off of here, the pro tip apparently is to tap along the edges with a rubber mallet, and it cuts the tape for you. So worked really well on that edge, and I think, you know, along these fairly complex contours with a rubber mallet, you can still work it in the grooves pretty good there, can't you? So let's see how this worked.
Look at that.
Wow, that actually worked really well.
Pro tip.
Yeah.
Just gonna hit this with a coat of primer first, and then we'll come in with the color match paint. We'll see if it's a good color match or not, but primer first.
What I did was, I did a little research on the internet. I thought it'd be really easy to find a paint code for that gray on the Supercharger because they're on like a million Ford Lightnings and Cobras and all kinds of other stuff. But Eaton apparently keeps their paint codes like locked down. They don't really want you knowing, but found a thread on a forum where this color is what they recommended, so I gave it a shot. You can see here it's actually called Daihatsu S25 Cool Silver, or at least that's what it came up in their system.
I'm going a very sophisticated method here, and that is I'm going with VHT Wrinkle Plus Black. So this is gonna look pretty good, and got a trick to make this work out in my favor, which I'll show you in a second, but first let's lay this down here.
What's going on here, PT?
The trick here to make this look perfect is to heat it up, but uh-oh, I'm seeing some nastiness happen there, and I think it's from over-application.
Oh, yeah, you did put a lot on.
You're supposed to put it on real thick so it wrinkles properly. We'll see, maybe it'll still save. We'll see, but the trick is, in theory, what you do is you start heating it up, and then it'll wrinkle perfectly. If you let it dry as it states in the instructions, then it doesn't wrinkle very well. You make it look really good, except for these damn runs. Oh my God. What did I do?
Let's go away with the wrinkle?
I don't know. We're gonna find out in a second. I don't think so.
Well, PT, I gotta say, I think mine turned out pretty well.
I think yours did turn out much, much better than mine did. Sadly, the runs got me. They just got me.
You. That's we're not talking about what you've eaten for lunch. We're talking about what happened here, right?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I think it was just the radius of this. Like, you're supposed to lay this on thick. The way the instructions say, you want to make like one heavy pass this way, another heavy pass this way, and then another one. And I did that, exactly that, and it ran on me. You know what? Like here, the way up from above, when it's on the car, there's just like a couple of small little wrinkle runs here, but on this side, this side really
full
got like
Frankenstein speck down there,
nastiness,
yep,
and that was where there was like a full tsunami run that took me out.
Moment of truth. Did the internet steer me wrong? Wouldn't be the first time, but wow, I gotta say that is actually a very good match.
There we go. We can kind of see it better there, but yeah.
That is pretty darn good.
Really good.
It might be a little brighter, but I think it's just because it's fresh and
fresher
clean,
paint,
and this
yeah.
is kind of dirty. But wow, so yeah, there you go. That is a really good match. So if you're looking to do the same, now you know the paint code. Man, we just put the plastic trim on here to make it look complete, because that's what it is. This thing is complete, it is ready to rip. And I'm stoked on how good it looks, Pete. This intake setup worked out really nicely.
It's a really OE plus look.
Yeah, it looks great. And that custom Elate elbow Just giving me all those supercharged vibes. So I'm stoked to get this out on the street. So let's go see what kind of noises it makes, guys. Let's see how it runs on the stock ECU. That is the completely stock ECU. We haven't put any of the, the modified ones in there yet. Let's just go for a roll. Check out the noise from those straight pipes and so on. So let's get going. Well, we're driving. It feels like it's been months since we've driven this car.
It's been a long time.
It's been a while.
It's actually winter.
Basically, winter happened, and now we're driving it again.
Yeah.
Wow. We're not throwing any check engine lights. I'm kind of blown away.
The exhaust is kind of loud.
Do you find it loud?
Yeah, I do. I mean, for a car that had like
no sound at all. Yeah.
Like quietness inside when you got on it there a little bit.
But in the grand scheme of things, it's still very quiet.
No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's nice in the sense of it's got some noise to it.
It is got a little growl there, but
just when you like accelerated there for a bit.
Yeah. So. Well, let's give it a hit of juice here, and because we've warmed it up already.
Yeah.
So let's
just see
try
what
to find a place on this road that isn't like
that's not gonna melt the motor. Just
potholes.
Give her.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
The alignment's terrible.
Yeah, the alignment is real bad.
We got to get an alignment done, but wow, that power made a difference.
Yeah, I can't tell, DP. It's been so long.
It has been a while.
Long. It's I don't know.
Take my word for it. I've driven it enough that it definitely feels faster.
Yeah.
I heard it took it a minute to downshift there, and once we switch out this ECU to the Quantum Auto ECU, it'll have more aggressive shifting.
Throw it, hammer it here.
Oh, it's lighting up the rear tires.
Oh wow.
Traction control is going off there.
Oh, actually, dude, it's got good pull-up top.
It does.
It's still very quiet. Like the Supercharger one, you'd hear
just
a little bit.
You
hear like a little bit of Supercharger one, and then you hear a little bit of exhaust. So I mean, that's kind of a victory.
I think so. It's got a little more theatrics to it.
Yes.
But it's not.
Yes.
It's not loud.
I'm gonna hit this traction control button here. Is that gonna turn off?
That is going to turn it off.
Do I hold it? Don't you get a light?
No, it says traction off there now.
Okay. Well, why don't you just slow down here?
Yeah.
Give her again. Yeah.
Okay.
Give her a quick hit.
Coming up back here.
That's okay. Whatever.
Here we go,
Yeah.
folks. Oh yeah,
dude.
It is lighting up the rear tires. It's a lot quicker.
It is.
It's a lot quicker.
It is.
I don't know if it's M5 quick, because man, that 5-liter motor has torque.
Yeah.
And a really broad, beefy power band.
You can feel the transmission is lazy.
It is a little lazy.
Yeah. Punch it again.
Lazy. It's the top end where you feel it. Like between 5 and 7, it wakes up.
Man.
It does still feel a little lazy off the line, I think, just because of the transmission and the gearing is probably pretty tall too.
I guess sport mode doesn't really matter, right?
If you're in sport mode,
like in terms of like
fifth, fourth, third, second.
There's second, all right. Let's see. See, it's good. Yeah, man. Whoa.
Oh yeah,
dude, it picks up good. The alignment is whack. Holy
it's a little
crap.
sketchy right now.
It feels like this car is gonna throw us into a ditch here.
It does.
Dude, it's working good.
It is working good. I'm stoked. I mean, I gotta say, when we first decided to do this,
there's some clunking coming up from the front there.
Maybe I didn't tighten that ball joint. Oh no, we were driving through a bunch of gravel there.
Okay.
I think when we first started this Supercharger setup, we were both a little skeptical about running it on the factory ECU.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it wouldn't work very well.
Yeah.
But so far, all signs point to winning.
I know, man. Wow.
That's amazing that this thing runs as well as it does.
And so the thing that is really cool for me, how civil the car is. Like, it really has, the demeanor hasn't changed much here.
No, it's
right?
not like a tuner car that we've ruined by
it's
making
like
too loud or too stiff.
So similar.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Woo-hoo! She lit him up there.
Dude.
That was sweet. This car has some zest to it now, you know?
Yeah.
Could we be so bold as to calling it a sports sedan now, Peter?
I think so, man. I mean, it's got more pizzazz for sure. It's certainly driving nicely.
It is. Even in flappy paddle mode here, it's driving nice. Man, I'm pumped. And people were saying we were going to hear exhaust drone at 2,000 RPM. Have you heard anything resembling exhaust drone?
Well, let's bring her up to 2,000 RPM there, and let's see what happens.
Might have to go to 4th gear here.
There you go. That's 2,000 right there. No, I don't hear any drone.
Dude, you could cruise in this for days.
Yeah.
This is not loud at all.
Huh.
This is and the Supercharger whine, when you really get into it like I did back there, you definitely hear it, but it's not dramatic the way it is in, say, an F-Type or
I just
a
think
Mustang.
a ton of those
Sound deadened,
cars,
man. This car is so
exactly,
much
and those
sound
cars, like, I think the intake system on this car, if you put like an actual cone filter on it, then you really hear like the wah, wah,
Yeah, but
because
you're right.
that opens it up, right?
Yeah.
What we've essentially done is put a huge muffler on the
Yes.
intake by running the OEM intake box,
That's a
right?
great point,
So
yeah.
that
That's a
kind
great
of, I
point.
think, takes a lot of that away. But
I don't mind though, because I want this to be a comfy family cruiser to take my kids to
and then
the
when you need
zoo
to
and
when you need to punch it,
it's got some personality.
Man, I don't know about you, PT, but that felt really good to finally drive this car after all that work.
That was awesome, man. Seriously.
We are a little rusty, both in terms of driving, alignment setup, and apparently turning on the GoPros in the correct way, because one of our cameras in there was set to time-lapse mode, was it, Pete?
Yes.
So we only had 2 views for you in there instead of 3. We apologize for that one. We're gonna do it up right, obviously, when we do a big, proper road test of this car and the M5 as part of our shootout at the end to determine which car we think is best and which car you guys think is best too. So in the meantime, man, I am just so pumped how well that drove on what was a horrible alignment and some rough roads, but the factory ECU seems to control this setup exceptionally well. And I know from having looked at dynographs that quantum auto-tuned ECU is going to add some power and improve things like transmission behavior. So things are looking up here.
All right, Clarice, can you get that on there?
No, I cannot. Let's see. Oh man.
Cut it too short.
I didn't, but I feel like it's got to go on
Make a roof
here
move.
first. Okay.